Thanks for clicking on this video. This is my tutorial for the kit that is the Fifth Element for a Day cigarette dispenser. I always thought the cigarette dispenser was a really fun joke in the movie. It's in several scenes. I just love how the cigarettes are mostly filter. And the little label that sits on behind the cigarettes is full of little jokes too. This is the deluxe kit. It includes the hollow acrylic tubes, the rods for making the fake cigarettes. These are acrylic rods. You've got your paper graphic for making the fake cigarettes. You've got the top of the body. It's going to live up here. We have the body shell, the vinyl slide decals, and some laser cut acrylic for the buttons and the readout display. In this video, I'm going to show you all the steps. We're going to be making the fake cigarettes. We'll be trimming and painting the body. We'll be applying the button details and the acrylic graphic plates. I'll be showing you how to install the vinyl slide decals, and we'll do some final assembly. And this will probably all be done in just a matter of a few hours. So let's go ahead and get started with the body. I'm going to start with the cast resin pieces. These are really clean. They really don't need any cleanup. But what I do want to do is give it a little bit of tooth for the paint to adhere to. Same with this top piece. I'm going to give this a little bit of fine sanding. These are your clear tubes. This is what the cigarettes will be displayed inside of. There might be a little bit of flashing at the base of these. You could just rub that out with a razor blade or just any kind of a tool. Before I paint this, I want to make sure that these holes are free and clear. This is engineered for these tubes to insert straight in there and into the little pits that are present there. I just want to make sure that everything is free and fits nice. This little tube here will have to be trimmed. See, I want to do this before I get to painting. Let's try this guy. Perfect. Perfect. So I've just got one tube here that just needs a little bit of a trim. Here is all your acrylic parts. Now don't take the paper off everything right away. This is a special case. I have a rastered edge. You might be able to see that in that picture. There's an edge that's going to be silver on this. So don't take all the paper off of this immediately. Only take that outer edge off. But I just took that outer edge off. There's a little bit of a silver bezel on this piece, so that's how we're doing it. I very carefully engineered a way to just laser cut barely through the paper so we can have a silver bezel. The rest of these parts, you can just take the paper off of both sides. For the clear acrylic parts, you don't want a really shiny chrome, you want a dull silver look. So I'm using metallic aluminum. This acrylic piece and this acrylic piece with only the paper removed off the edges are both silver. These four acrylic pieces are sort of a yellow orangey color and they look a little bit translucent, so I'm using Tamiya translucent orange. I'm going to go ahead and start making these fake cigarettes. This is paper. We're going to be adhering these to the rods with some spray adhesive. The trim is really easy on these. You just trim on those black lines to make your 4 paper blanks. You don't have to be super anal when it comes to this trim. These are made with a lot of excess. You're going to be overlapping this by quite a bit. Okay, so for these, I'm just using a paper plate so I can control the overspray of spray adhesive. Alright, here's my cigarette rods cut to size. So now it's just a matter of grabbing these paper blanks and wrapping. Start with a nice straight edge and roll it. Try to keep this, make sure this is nice and even. And there we go. These rods are cut a little bit long on purpose. I can take these to a belt sander and just trim off to where that graphic stops. Now you don't really see the ends of these in the finished prop, but I like to be thorough. So I've got a little brown and I've got some yellow. And I'm going to finish the end of this cigarette just a little bit of brown. And this side, it's a little bit of yellow orange. Okay, there we go. One finished fake fifth element cigarette. Let's talk about base color. In the movie, this unit looks to be black, just a flat black. It might be a satin black. I really think that in true life, it's more of a charcoal, a very dark charcoal color. But I'm airbrushing flat Tamiya, and I'm going to put in just a little bit of gray Tamiya and make an off black color. To me, it just reads better on film. It reads better in stills. Just looks better instead of just having a flat black piece, something that has a little bit of shade to it. So it'll be a very dark gray. I'll be airbrushing this piece. You can rattle can this if you want, but I really prefer using airbrush, especially on a day like this. I'm in the Bay Area. It's raining. I'd rather use my Tamiya paints. I've got a very standard Amazon compressor and my double action airbrush. You don't have to worry about airbrushing inside this pocket. That's all covered up by a decal. But I do want to get these edges in the corners. And I really want to pay close attention to these grooves. Make sure I'm attacking those from all angles. I have a very good base coat on this. I am going to seal it. Before we do decals, I'm sealing this with matte clear. Just a very light kiss, just to prevent any scratches. Don't go too heavy with this. You don't want it to build up. Just want a really light protection coat. Now we're getting into the decal stage. I'm going to mix up a little bit of soapy water. So, just a few drops of Dawn. Give that a shake. And this will be our medium for placing these vinyl decals. Alright, let's take inventory of our decals. This is the red glitter, To Quit Is My Goal. This sheet has all of this. And what you really want to be careful with is the quit smoking is white, and it's really hard to see, but it's right here. It'll always be in this position. So when you cut, make sure that you're keeping an eye on that white lettering and carefully trim that off. And I'm going to separate all these. Okay, with all these separated, we are ready to rock. I'm going to start with this label decal. I'm going to prime my location with some of this soapy water. This is going to allow this vinyl decal to slide. What I'm going to do is take the vinyl off. And set it into position. I'll be able to move this a bit. And then once you like your position, push it down. These little squeegees are great. These are like 99 cents. And I'm using that to make sure I've got no air bubbles. Alright, let's go for this corner one. I'm going to start at the corner, the top corner, lay it down. That looks great. Wick away some of that moisture, push out any air bubbles, and that is set. This one is the To Quit Is My Goal. This is in red glitter vinyl. I don't want to use soap on this. I want to do a dry transfer, just because there's so many individual parts. And I'm very carefully peeling away this paper, making sure that all the letters are staying in place. And I'm going to just line this up and put her down. Just to see what I have here. That looks good to me. Alright, so I'm going to squeegee this down. And from one end, very carefully reveal red glitter. There it is. Smoking decal is done the same way. Just very slowly make sure all these letters are transferring off. Line it up. I'm doing this one dry again. There's so many different parts that you don't want to use soap. Perfect. This one I'm placing right in the corner. Positioning it straight. It's that easy, guys. I'm going to slide my 4 hollow tubes into place. And I'm not even going to bother gluing these down. The fit is so tight. I just don't need adhesive. Okay, cigarettes go in, filter up. And these can be glued in. I'm just going to leave them loose. I think it's kind of fun if they just kind of are loose in there. Alright, now with a little bit of epoxy, I'm going to put this top piece on here now that that part is assembled. Okay, your acrylic parts. You want to remove the paper from both sides of your square. To adhere the acrylic down, I'm going to use Elmer's glue, just a children's white glue. Just apply it on the corners. You don't want to use anything aggressive like super glue because that will craze the surface. And that nice little pretty window sits right there, nice and clean. Now for the last little button details, I'm noticing, this is the first time I'm building one of these, but I'm seeing that, and when I put the tinted little buttons over black, they get really dark. So what I want to do is I'm going to paint the inside of this white, then that'll go down, and then your translucent buttons will go on top of that and they'll stay bright. As a side note, this little button control panel could be backlit if you were so inclined to hollow out that little area, and there's plenty of room for wiring and a battery. You could backlight these buttons just like you see it in the movie. Just a little piece of diffusion back here, a couple LEDs, and that guy, all these will light up. There we go. And there you have it, guys. One-day build, the 4-a-day cigarette machine from the Fifth Element. This will make a great wall display. You can put this up, just drill a little hole back here and hang it from a nail on your wall. You can light back here. You can light this up. You can light that up. Just have fun with it, man. This is really a pleasure to make this kit. This was a kind of a quick build for me, and I am so happy to share it with you. Make sure you like and subscribe, and check the links in the description to visit my Facebook, website, and Instagram pages. And thanks for joining me. I'll see you on the next tutorial.